But now let's say you are crazy enough to try and make this your career. That's what you've decided. You want to try and pursue streaming as some form of job. You would like to see some success in it. Or maybe you just want to be better at streaming because it's a fun hobby. Well, what can you do to ensure success outside of technical aspects, which we'll cover in the next section, that will help you and enable you to be a better streamer? So let's talk. What is the most important aspect of being a Twitch streamer, chat? What is it? What do you think the answers are? Let's see what some of the answers are on the screen. What do you think are the most important aspects of being a Twitch streamer? Consistency, okay. A huge slong. I saw 2 of those. That would certainly help on some streaming websites. I'm not sure about this one. Entertainment, good at talking. Okay, a lot of good suggestions. I've always thought of it as a very particular word, and I've said this a couple of times during the presentation. I do think that this is the most crucial skill, without doubt. It's the most important one. It sounds boring, but it's just telling a story. The ability to tell a story to the audience. And I don't mean directly, because obviously we have Pete, who is actually goated at recounting a story. For example,
I remember when I first moved to Japan, there were some early months where I was so broke that my mom had to send me money from Western Union, and I had to go and find them just to cash traveler's checks. And there was one where I went to a particular place, the only Western Union that was open. I was like on my last 500 yen. I took this train to a station, and I went to the door of where it said it was supposed to be. And I'm like knocking on the door of this office building saying like, "Let me in!" And then I kept saying like, "Money, money!" And I saw like these office ladies in the back, like looking terrifying and like pointing. And I was like, "Money!" And they actually called the police on me because they thought I was trying to rob the place. And I went to the wrong building. Not technically my fault. They had moved the Western Union.
Not his fault.
It was a very long.
So you can see like Pete is obviously naturally, like in a traditional sense of storytelling, a very good one. And I've seen this a lot because I've made this point a couple of times and the comments always get it fucking wrong. Like, I'll say you need to have like lived experience. You need to have done something. That doesn't, people, when I say that, people see it as like, well, Connor, I can't travel the world and do these silly things. I'm talking about being able to take that mundane trip to the bank or being able to have that mundane trip to lunch with your friends and figuring out in your head like a fun way to present that story if you were to. But also, you don't have to talk about your personal life on stream, right? You don't have to. Like, you don't have to talk about your life or whatever, because we'll get into that kind of storytelling as well. What I'm saying is that your ability to recount events or lived experience and translate that into your content is very important. But also, when I say storytelling, what I also mean is that how you present yourself, is a story in and of itself, right? So let's look at someone like Tyler Wan, right? Who's very mean to me at the streaming games. The way that like he tells a story, right? He does tell stories, but what I'm trying to say is like when you click on a stream, it is a story. Like, why is this guy? Like, let's have a look at this clip. Okay, just a ridiculous clip. All right, one of his ones that went really popular a very long time ago. But there are certain things as a viewer that tell a story. Why is this guy who is 6'5", jacked as shit, in this playing League of Legends, right? Why is his microphone absolutely dog shit? Why is he so toxic? These are all like kind of subconscious stories that he's kind of getting across to you through his presentation. Like, he's purposely chose the most dog shit setup, which helps his kind of vibe come across. But then also he has his own life, like he got banned permanently in League of Legends. He was the only person to ever be like name banned in League of Legends. And that allowed his viewers to be a part of that story. Like, they felt like, oh, guy got done dirty, or, oh yeah, he deserved that, right? And watching his arcs, him grow through that, was a story in and of itself, right? And then now obviously he has, he has kids, and that's also a part of like his presentation, right? So, he's kind of had like a full arc, and every single way that he presents to you as a viewer is a story. So I want you to think about this when you go into your stream, that every single decision you make of your stream is a story that you are kind of telling. Whether or not you're saying anything at all, you are telling people, noted, have a kid. That is not, there is a redemption arc there, right? And that is one story. But another story is like this guy who's a machine is playing League of Legends and he's good at it, right? Like these are all things. These are all intentional or unintentional. Like I don't think Tyler planned this, but this became like iconic, right? This style, this way of doing things. It was unique. It was fun. It was engaging, right? So there is Pete, who is a naturally charismatic person who can recount a story, who can maybe embellish stories in a way and draw from his personal lived experience. But there is also not having to do that. You don't have to do that. You can also just say, hey, I'm going to be in a fucking back rooms with a dog shit mic, and that will be a presentation of itself, right? So think about this. Think about this. Also, obviously, obviously a good friend of the channel, Mouse, a true inspiration. Let's have a look at some of Mouse's accolades.
The winner is Iron Mouse.
We need mixing. Cool. And we have, she's doing concerts and stuff, these amazing live performances. And as a viewer, it's fun to kind of invest in that. Of course, Cry For Me, worldwide hit, Booby's my goat. Love that guy. Does not sound like Spring Track, by the way. And Mouse, as a viewer, there's like so much cool shit to be a part of. You get to watch the award winner. You get to watch the concerts. You get to watch the songs that come out. They're all amazingly well produced. But obviously, Mouse had a start, and she had like a viral clip that blew up of her. And I know Mouse hates talking about this clip, but where she's talking about, she's asking the viewers,
let me explain. A better workspace, the reason why I am embarrassed is because, for those of you that know more about me, I have been bedridden for many years, and
so this is Mouse asking for donations so that she can improve her living scenario and workstation.
My bed. I don't like calling it my bed. It makes
right. I don't need to play the full clip, but you get the gist. And like from an audience perspective, being able to be a part of propping someone up and allowing them to then go on and win all these awards is really fucking awesome. And from a viewer's perspective, it's fucking sick. It's sick to be a part of that. It's really rewarding. And it's cool to watch Mouse go from strength to strength, right? So Mouse isn't always, look, Mouse also tells really funny stories, obviously on stream and whatnot. And again, this is a kind of a personal thing. You do not have to bring personal stuff into telling a story. I want to get that across, and as we'll do an example later. But, being a part of Mouse's community and, kind of watching her grow is a journey that we all get to follow and be a part of. I'm just trying to get across to you that there are many ways to tell a story to an audience. There's also Ludwig, who is, hate to give him credit, he's very good at doing it. Like, we had like the God Gamer Gauntlet, which is something that is a made-up challenge with fucking Mickey Mouse rules. But look, he'll explain it to you. He'll tell you a story right now. Watch.
I created the hardest gaming challenge in the world. It's called the God Gamer Gauntlet, and it starts off with Only Up, a game you've probably seen that you have to beat in less than an hour.
He's telling you a story.
Hundreds of people have done this, so it doesn't sound too hard, but that's just the beginning. After beating Only Up, you have to play Getting Over It, Pogo Stuck, and Jump King back to back to back and beat all 4 games in less than an hour. If you can do that, you're a God Gamer. And I would know, because I've done it. Only Up, Getting Over It, Pogo Stuck, and...
So, like, look, he just made up a fucking challenge that doesn't exist and has Mickey Mouse rules, and he just made shit up. But he sold you on the story, right? He has made a story for this challenge that didn't exist until he made it, and he's explained it to you like it's some really fucking big thing. He's sold it to you, And so, to be fair, Lud is an amazing communicator. Brother, we watched Ludwig's first video, the Zany Sidekick. He was not an amazing communicator at the time. It is a learned skill, And that is what I'm trying to get across is that, there are people like Speed, there are people like Queso who are naturally insanely good at what they do. And this is not for you. This is not for them, because they were probably going to have some form of success in some aspect. Obviously, Queso got lucky that someone was sharing his clips. But what I'm saying is that, like, to a lot of people, you are going to have to learn these skills. Like Speed is a freak, bro. Like, he's a freak, a generational talent. We do not have that. What I'm trying to tell you is that any average Joe, us, we can learn these skills and use them. They are not, yes, there are people that are going to be talented at them. Yes, there are people that are going to be better than you at them. But it doesn't mean you can't learn and try. It's practice. It's learning. And like when people throw their hands up saying, well, Lud's too good at this. It's like, yeah, he's too good at it, but I guess I can get pretty good too. So, this kind of downer attitude, you are the, if you have that mentality going into this, you're already cooked. Seriously, like you won't do it. Do a backflip? Fuck no. I would blow up my back and die, which maybe would make me a good clip, but I want to keep streaming after this. So, and same for me. Like when I do this, I sometimes I recount my own stories on the podcast or whatever, but I also do it through games, right? Me not having played FNAF for the first time, a game that everyone obviously played at some point, is a story. That is a story I'm taking you on. It's going to be like the beginning, the middle, the end. The beginning of that game, I haven't played it. I'm unfamiliar with it. And you, as the viewer, presumably have some familiarity with it. And then we go through where I start to get a little bit better and more knowledgeable about the game. And then by the end of that video, I give you my thoughts on all of the games. Right? That's a journey. We are going through the story. You are a storyteller. You need to think of your streams as a story that you are telling people.